over your head.
We're live, Judge.
Okay. You know, Sheriff, it must be nice to be that limber.
Let's see.
And that quick. Thank you, Kyle.
You're welcome, Judge.
All right.
Morning, everybody.
March 22nd, 9:08. About that o'clock. Regular meeting, Commissioner Court, Liberty County, Texas. Let's see. Everybody's here. Commissioner Karbowski, Commissioner Arthur, and Commissioner Whitmire are present. Commissioner Wilson is with us by way of Zoom. The quorum established. We did this for the court this morning. And we thank you all for braving the weather. Even as bad as it was, Lord blessed us and got it out of here in a hurry. So y'all just keep in mind the folks in some of the areas to the north and the west of us. It's not there so well. I'm sure the sheriff will mention them shortly. Okay, if you would all rise. The sheriff's going to lead us in our pledges, and the sheriff's going to lead us in our invocation report.
Please face the American flag. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please face the Texas flag.
On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Pray with me, please. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, we want to thank you for the ability to come together this morning and meet. I ask, Lord, that you bless the judge and the commissioners as they make decisions that affect the county, Lord. Lord, I ask a special blessing on all those that were affected in the storms, and there's several without power. There are several that cannot be found right now, Lord. I just ask that you be with that, be with those families, Lord, be with the first responders, Lord, keep them safe as they look and help out, Lord. Lord, I just ask also, I know there are plenty of veterans in the crowd this morning. I want to thank you, Lord, for their service, that we have freedoms like this, that we can gather together and not fear any persecution, Lord. I just thank you for their service. I thank you for those that, Lord, gave their life that we'd be able to do this, Lord. Lord, as we go through this meeting, I just ask, Lord, that you be with us. Let us have the wisdom it takes to do the things that you would have us do. And Lord, we give you the glory and honor for all the things that we accomplish in your name. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Sheriff. Well, hopefully a little rain will knock some of that pollen out. Boy, it's been rough, hasn't it? Those days. Okay, notices and proclamations is next. And we do have a proclamation this morning. Let's see. Child Abuse Prevention and Awareness Proclamation. Our friends with Bridgehaven here this morning. Y'all come on in. Step in here and get my glasses. And who do we have here this morning?
Paola Palacio, Program Director.
Good to see you.
Hi, too. My name is Shelley Quigley. I am the new Community Outreach Director.
All right, pleased to meet y'all. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we have a proclamation for you all this morning, whereas we have a responsibility as individuals, neighbors, community members, and citizens of Liberty County to help create healthy, safe, and nurturing experiences for children. And whereas nearly 200,000 children in Texas are reported or abused or neglected every year, And whereas safe and healthy childhoods help produce competent, successful adults. And whereas child abuse and neglect often occurs when people find themselves in stressful situations without community resources and don't know how to cope. And whereas the majority of child abuse cases stem from situations and conditions that are preventable and engaged in supportive community. And whereas child abuse and neglect can be reduced by making sure every family has the support they need and deserve to raise their children in a healthy environment. And whereas it is recognized that no one person can do everything, but that everyone can do something. Think about that. And together we can create change for the better. And whereas effective prevention programs succeed because of partnerships among agencies, schools, religious organizations, law enforcement agencies, sheriff, and the business community. Now therefore be known that I, Liberty County Judge Jay Knight, do hereby proclaim April 2022 as Child Abuse Prevention and Awareness Month in Liberty County, and urge all citizens to engage in activities that strengthen families and communities to provide the optimal environment for children to learn, grow, and thrive so that all children have the benefit of happy, healthy, and safe childhoods, as well as a month of remembrance of all children and families in Liberty County whose lives have been impacted by abuse and neglect. Sounds 22nd day of March, 2022, on behalf of the Commissioners Court of Liberty County.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
so much. Thank y'all for coming. Give the folks just a little overview of what y'all do at Bridge Haven, because I've been to your office a few times, and I think we even had a program one time on the little video thing that we did.
Yes.
But,
It was last year, I believe, during
Yeah.
COVID.
Mhm.
So Bridge Haven CDC, it's a nonprofit organization that was created to reduce the trauma associated with child abuse victims. We provide services to victims and their non-offending caregivers. We do provide them with resources as well, and they're for the children and their non-offending caregivers.
y'all partnered quite well with the Sheriff's Department, police departments.
We do, we work with the MDT, so like Judge said, law enforcement, CPS, prosecution, medical, just a whole team that is behind the child to make sure that they get justice.
So it really is truly a team effort.
It sure
It
is.
is.
This Judge.
And Sheriff, thank y'all for being involved, because I know you are.
We have two investigators assigned to them.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
we
so-
work very closely with them. We love having them in our office, so.
All right. Well, let us know if there's anything we do to continue to help you. And
Sure will.
again, thank y'all so much for
Thank
your
you, thank you.
involvement and for your success. And we're going to continue to help you have success as we go forward.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Can we
y'all.
get a picture really quick?
Sure, sure
Okay.
can. I'll break the camera this morning.
Okay.
Good, right? I don't know about that.
Well, you better give that to Miss Harris. Something like that. Give it to me. This other one over here is gonna be rough. You got that.
Thank you, sir.
You bet.
Thank you. Perfect. Beautiful, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. You bet. Yes, ma'am. You too.
Ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Y'all give me the. Next item of public comments. We have some folks here that signed up. Normally, we cut off our public comment signups at quarter till the hour, but since the weather was bad today, we extended just a little bit further, so we're glad to have y'all with us. Kim Hilton? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So just come up here.
Yes, ma'am, please. Yeah, please do.
Okay.
And you're from Cleveland, Texas?
Yes, sir.
All right.
And we do a lot of dog rescue,
Yes,
cat
ma'am.
rescue, and we have a
overwhelming problem in Cleveland and surrounding areas with the dogs. We're trying to help. We're not trying to cause problems. We have organizations that want to help spay and neuter free for the residents of Liberty County. We're trying to figure out how to get more. Well, we actually work with the Cleveland Police Department. They call us constantly, to help out with dogs and cats. So we just want to try to get a bigger facility, maybe. I mean, something to help shelter more of them until we can get them rescued out of here. Because we work with a lot of rescues that help dogs move up, get them to homes up north. We just need some help, with the situation. But everybody says, "Oh, well, we was just told to shoot the dog." Well, that's not good. That's just to shoot the dog. The dog needs help because there's too many people neglecting them. They don't care. They're abusing them so badly. I mean, if they abuse a dog like that right there, to imagine what they can do to a kid or to a person. Because we have seen them beat the dog to death because they killed their chickens, because they're starving. I mean, it's just an overwhelming problem. And it's scary too to think that people have that mentality and that we live next door to them. So, I mean, we just need some help. We need somebody to enforce the law to these people, to tell them this cannot be going on. And we don't know what to do. We just want to help. So, and we got organizations, like I said, free spay and neuter for all of Liberty County. Just sign them up, we'll get them there. If I have to drive by myself to Houston, I don't care. We do that constantly. So, we want some help.
We appreciate you coming in and visiting with us. Thank you so much. As y'all know, during the public comment section, it's not an agenda item, and therefore we can't comment.
Yeah.
So, but we will listen.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
All right, Lisa Noble. Hi, come on up, please. And you're also from Cleveland?
Yes.
Okay.
My name is Lisa Noble. I was born and raised in Liberty County, living my whole life. And never seen a problem like we are having these days with the strays, abandonment, and also the unwanted domesticated animals. We do work very hard and will continue to work very hard to save as many as possible. Over the last 3.5 years, me and my sister have saved over 1,000. So the problem with the issue is the city has animal control, but the county, doesn't. So if we could have a county facility, that would help tremendously. And we can always get donors to help with that. There is a lot of people that's willing to help. They've offered. So it's just, honestly, over the last few years, I've seen so much abuse. It is caused from the overwhelming amount of strays, and unwanted animals. But some of the things I've seen over the last few years, I'll never be able to get out of my mind until the day I die. So I just want to try to, get some people to come together. We're willing to help. We're willing to keep working hard to get, this under control. Because if we don't, it's just going to get worse. So,
Well, your first step is public awareness.
yeah, and a Liberty County animal shelter would be great. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes, ma'am. And David Whitson. David, come on up.
Thank you, Judge.
You bet. Good to see you,
Good
man.
to see you
You
again.
bet. Thank you.
I'd like to talk on the issue that they brought up is the need for county animal control and an animal control shelter, and maybe someone within the sheriff's department or the constable's department that can, run animal control division. This book here, the premise of it is that a lady that fostered 100 dogs up north, she came down south and she toured 50 shelters and rescues here in the South. And a shelter is what a government owns and a rescue is what nonprofit owns. And so there's a lot of ideas in here, I know the cost is always an impediment. We're not a rich county. But I think some of the things that they try to emphasize is that there's animal welfare organizations and foundations that could give grant money to help us do things like build a shelter, of course, with Sheriff Radar, oversee Raider?
Raider, yeah.
Okay, I've always
He's
pronounced.
got radar in his car.
I got radar in the car, that's okay.
Sorry about that, but from reading this book, what I understood is that people can't contribute to the enforcing of the laws, but organizations, foundations can contribute to the cost of building animal shelters and things like that. And I've looked, and of 6 of the surrounding counties around us, excluding Houston, only Harding County does not have animal control in their county. And they're not rich counties neither. And you talked about having workshops about this. I know we disagreed about the cost of it, but I would like for you to go ahead and hold at least one of those workshops so we can come with some information to present before y'all to see if it might be something feasible that the county can do.
Okay.
Okay, thank y'all very much.
Thank you, Dan. Appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Chris.
All right. Number 6, declare conflicts of interest. Anyone have any conflicts to declare with staff? Well, okay, number 12. Okay, number 7, the consent agenda. Everybody had an opportunity to look over the consent agenda. Any questions, concerns?
I have 3 to add.
Got an add-on, Dwight?
Yeah, I got 3 budget amendments to add. DA's transferring $1,500 out of our seizure fund to each constable for education and training. Increasing the auto repair budget in the sheriff's department by $20,147. They received some other income for some vehicle sales. And precinct 1, transferring $10,165 out of the Colbert expense line to repairs.
Judge,
Yes,
I
ma'am.
also passed out some add-ons for payroll. Excuse me. These are either payoffs or time that has to be paid down on comp time for jail employees. So we got 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
And you all have a copy of each one of those.
Lee, you have those? Okay. Good. Any other questions, concerns?
Item 6 on the payroll changes. The precinct 1 constable, I don't believe should be on there. Approved you hire David. He's a reserve. Shouldn't be on the payroll section of it. Need to delete it all. He's payroll change. It's not a payroll change.
Yeah, reserves are not paid, so not hired.
But it just needs to be stricken off.
Goes from 0 to whatever. Okay. Any other questions? Discussion?
Along with the additions, I make a motion to approve.
Motion, Bruce, second, Greg, to approve. All in favor, say aye. Likewise, no. That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Okay, number 8 on the regular agenda. Get down to business here. For Mr. Bush, elected administrator, consider and approve vote center locations for Liberty County general elections. The election locations are included in the packet. And Cleveland will come up and explain what we're doing here and how using election centers makes a whole lot better sense.
Yes, sir, members in your packet, Lee, do you have it in your packet as well? Vote centers, we have used them once before. That's where a voter can go to any voting location that's open on election day. They don't have to go to their home precinct. It makes it more convenient, and we can move them about. The only thing is you cannot cross commissioner lines with your numbers of precincts. If you look at your form, we have Commissioner Precinct 1, 2, 3, and 4, and you see that there are different amounts per each commissioner. We did that based off of, we don't want anyone to drive over 10 miles to vote. That's 10 miles to vote. The difference between Romare and Dolan is 7 miles. So they would vote at Romare. It pretty much centrally locates every voter in the county with these 15 voting locations to where it's 10 miles or less to go vote. The problem with precinct 1 and 2 is they're extremely large. Commissioner Whitmire's precinct is relatively small, and we have actually 90% of his voting precincts open with this scheme as far as vote centers. And Commissioner Grabowski and Arthur have 50% of their voting precincts actually open. The law says I must open 50% of the voting locations per commissioner's precinct, but I can't go over that, or I'd have to build a location in precinct 3 to comply with the law. These 15 locations have been open for elections before within the past 2 years. They are good locations. People seem to like vote centers because it's very convenient. And I would propose opening these for every election except runoff elections. Those are special elections, and the statistics dictate what we open for those. Any general election, these will be the voting locations for Liberty County, so people will become accustomed to voting at these places. They won't have to wonder where they're supposed to vote. If it's election day, they know they can do it.
Curiosity on the question of runoff elections. Where does the burden lie? Is it with the elections office on picking these locations, or is it with the parties?
Primary elections, the parties pick them, but the parties did have input on these locations. We actually had them when y'all did the adoption of vote centers before the presidential election, the 2020 election. We had a pretty extensive process to pick these voting locations. We had a committee set up, I believe 18 people, both Democrat, Republican, different dynamics of the county from all representative areas of the county. And that's what came up with our lists and the recommendation to go to vote centers. Oakshade is not on there because it would kick me over the limit. We're going to watch in that particular area. We are looking at the Tarkington area. We had a huge turnout in the primary. I'm not real sure why, because in the previous 7 elections, we did not have a large turnout. It was steady, but it was not overwhelming. We had lines in Tarkington, so we opened up the church. Let's see, Tarkington Prairie Baptist Church. It used to be a voting location. We're going to see how that works. That should reduce the pressure at the Highway Tabernacle. If not, we are going to take a look, see what we can do different. We just have to work with the Secretary of State's office, the law, and see what we have to do based on the next election. We got to see what statistics. I use numbers and I use math to determine what we open. It needs to make sense for all the counties.
So I noticed Ames and Raywood both, we previously voted at the Catholic Church at both of them, and both of them are not on here.
Yes, sir.
How long have we been using the city hall? I don't think we've ever used.
We have before. It's, previously, we've used it a lot before elections administration. My thought with Ames is we're real close to Liberty, and they normally drive to Liberty, but Ames has a lot of city elections. That's why I have to open up Ames, like this city election, I have to open them up. So we're going to monitor that, but Ames has been open. We bounce between Raywood and Ames. Raywood will be central. They have 3 voting locations pretty close to them with the vote centers. It's not perfect. We're a big county, and y'all are my problem. Y'all have too big of a precinct. Yeah.
We'll gladly share with other commissioners.
I know. And if I actually had one more to you, I'm required to build a location in his precinct. So if y'all want to do that, that is fine, but I do need a couple $100,000 to build a building. Okay.
Tarkington is usually a pretty heavy vote there. That votes more.
Yes, sir. But it hasn't voted like it did the previous election. I'm not sure why. And their constables wasn't even on the ballot. So I don't know. We are monitoring that.
Yeah,
and
I
we
think
will be
it's
in touch with you.
a pretty heavy vote in that area.
Yes, sir. And due to the growth in the county, we may actually have to redistrict our voting precincts in 2 years. We'll see.
That's the main thing, you can vote from
Any place in the county.
Yes, sir. You don't have to go to your home precinct. That was some of the problem over there.
I heard a lot of complaints from constituents that they went somewhere where they always went prior to the redistricting, and it was, which is.
Well,
Yes, sir.
my defense there is it's advertised extensively,
Yeah,
not just on Facebook, but also on your website, the county website, and the media.
We did full page ads. We've never done that before. We did full page ads for 2 weeks back to back, color, in both newspapers. Unfortunately, we don't have a great way in this county to communicate with folks. I wish we still had our Daily News. I wish we had our Cleveland Advocate, and I really wish we had K-Shot. And the Houston Chronicle is just too expensive. It's just absolutely too expensive.
Nobody reads it.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right.
Clint, I think you done a pretty good job with this. I move we approve.
Thanks, sir.
Clint,
Yes, sir.
with the utilizing these voting centers, would they change up like the early voting times versus
No, sir. It has absolutely, it has no effect on times of the voting. State law dictates that, depending on the elections. But no, this is just your voting locations. These are voting locations you've used before. This is just making it where folks don't have to vote at their home precinct. They can go anywhere in the county to vote.
correct? Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I have a motion, looking for a second.
I second the motion.
Okay, second. Motion from Greg, second from Bruce to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, no. That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Okay, Clint, we have one more with you. Consider, number 2, consider and approve the order of special election for May the 7th, 2022. And this will be, may as well go ahead and tell it what the concerns are on this election, city, school boards, and such.
This is going to be a big election. We're going to have almost all of the jurisdictions in the county having elections. We have several hotly contested elections with some of the cities. We do have some hotly contested school board races across the county. I'm anticipating a good turnout. I'm hoping for a good turnout. It'll also be a constitutional election, and y'all have to order the constitutional election. It is a special constitutional election. It's going to be lowering the property tax, increasing the homestead exemption to $40,000 for ISDs. So that's only 2 constitutional amendments for this election. In your order, I am adding 1 more, or actually 2 more voting locations for early voting. Cleveland ISD always dictates that they have Santa Fe building open because that is in their school district. It's a large population area. And since DayZ is having a city council race and school board race, we need to open that for early voting so they don't have to drive to Hardin. It's fair. They're going to pay for it, but y'all have to order it. So the early voting locations will change from time to time, from election to election, but it's still vote centers. But we just have to order this as a requirement of the law.
Make a motion to approve. Second.
Okay,
Bruce, can you alter that to the motion to order the election?
Make a motion to order the election.
okay, got a motion from Bruce, second from Greg. Motion to order the election. Okay, any other concerns or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, next. That motion carries. Thank you. So
Thanks,
much. I
sir.
appreciate your
Thank you.
explanations. Okay, next one from Mr. Huggy Mueller, our fire marshal. And Bill, I see you on there, so you may as well go ahead and unmute. There you go. Good morning. Number 3 is consider and approve order authorizing San Jacinto Day fireworks sales beginning April 16th and ending April 21st. This order must be adopted before April the 1st, 2022, if the court decides to permit fireworks sales. And San Jacinto Day is coming up. As y'all know, April 21st, it's also Aggie Mustard Day. Come on, Sheriff. Help me out.
I got 2 of them.
Okay, all right. I believe it's pretty much self-explanatory. Bill, you have anything else you want to add to this?
The only thing is our numbers on the KBDI is real low, even though we've been having grass fires, but our numbers are where they need to be. So, and then of course, we just received what, 2 inches, 3 inches of rain. So I don't foresee an issue.
I think the main issue, Bill, is just to reemphasize that folks exercise caution, that, when you have, the fuel is there and the wind is there, and then you have the spark, that's what caused it. And it,
Exactly.
being negligent in, where you start maybe, have a burning barrel in your backyard. Just think about it. Sparks fly over, land in the pasture next to you by accident, and then you got a fire. Then we got a problem. And then you have multiple fire departments, Clint. I know this happened on Sunday, at least 3 or 4 fire departments, along with the folks from the Forestry Service out fighting a fire on Sunday afternoon. I mean, just be cautious. Be cautious. Use common sense. Everybody has it. I mean, well,
Let me stretch it.
I'll slow down on that one right there. Yeah, okay. All right. Any questions, concerns about number 3 with Mr. Mueller?
Make the motion we approve.
Motion for Leon.
Second.
Second, Greg. Approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 4, Mr. Poston, and I see Matthew's on here today. Consider and approve donation of wood scraps and shavings from Fuller Custom Works LLC to Liberty County Sheriff's Office Livestock Division to use as floor covering for the livestock stalls. That's what I call good recycling there. Matthew?
Judge, I'm actually going to handle this for Matthew.
Okay.
Basically, it's exactly what the agenda item says. This is a donation from Judge Fuller's woodworking company to the livestock division of the sheriff's office to line the livestock stalls of wood shavings and wood scraps. And there's nothing in the law that prohibits the court from accepting this type of donation.
Great. And we sure appreciate Judge Fuller for recycling in this matter.
Make a motion to approve. Second.
Got a motion for Bruce, second Greg to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. Motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. And thank you, Catherine. And thank you, Judge.
Absolutely.
Number 5, for Mr. Brown. Good morning, Brother Rick.
Good morning.
Consider and approve overpay refunds the following amounts: $10,289.94 for account 95691. Customer, of course, our friends across the street, FL&B. Another one for $4,408.15. Account number 103323, also for FL&B. And number 3 is $10,466.51 for account number 56712, also to our friends across the street, FL&B.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Evidently, they double paid or somebody paid and then they paid on the mortgage or something like that. But as you know, we come before the court anytime the refund is in excess of $2,500, which all three or 4 of these, 3 of these cover. So that's why we presented for your formal action, and I recommend that you approve.
Great. Any questions?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion from Bruce, second from David to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays.
At least they're overpaying. Thank you.
Well, yeah, I mean, you got to hang on to it for just a little while.
Yeah, we did.
Okay. Number 6, Mr. Douglas over at the permit inspection office. Consider and approve request from Ms. Barbara Lang at the Langtree Duck Farm for no charge permits to build tiny homes, a nonprofit effort that will serve homeless veterans. And we've had this discussion. It's a great idea, a great program. So David, if you would explain to us.
Good morning, gentlemen. How's everybody?
Great.
Commissioner Karbowski, I believe this is in your precinct.
Yes, it is.
From County Road 190. The Langtree Farm Group, Barbara Lang, who heads that up, they've been working on this proposal for 3 years. And they have finally come up and solidified everything, and they're planning on building 26 tiny homes And their exclusive client base is going to be homeless veterans. So Ms. Lang is here with us today, and there's a couple of her helpers. And I think they would like to address the commissioners.
But y'all come on up to visit with Lieutenant Pierce, Ms. Lang, come on up.
One or all?
Oh,
Good, everybody, I like that idea, thank you.
the team.
I've got to tell you, we did some quick calculations, looks like this is about $6,500.
And during this process, though, permitting department will still be there to inspect and to look at everything that is being put in, correct?
The biggest thing to look at is going to be septic systems.
Y'all come on up.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you,
How are you
Judge, for
doing?
allowing us to come, and thank
I'm
you,
glad to hear
Commissioner.
it. Yes, ma'am.
I'll be brief. I want to introduce Lee Kerrigan from Finally Homes. This is one of our board members.
Yes, ma'am.
And we're gonna let the magic man stand over there, and you're gonna ask him the specific questions. I'd just like to share with you the fact that we've been concerned about homeless veterans. As a result, we have formed a partnership with approximately 20 different agencies to address this major problem. Lime Tree started off in 2004 to deal with intergenerational programs, senior citizens and youth, and it's an environmental sustainability program. We've had your wife out there, and we've done all kinds of exciting things from time to time, as well as with other agencies. The demand for utilizing the facility for homeless veterans coming from calls from our sheriff's department to the VA to the hospital to VFW has been astronomical. As a result, we have modified to include service to homeless veterans. Our homeless veterans have benefit. Currently, there are 6 houses and they're always filled. We provide not only housing, which we consider to be transitional housing, so that they can benefit from the counseling provided by Tri-County, provided by VFW, provided by the United Way, and other agencies who are involved with us. In addition to counseling, they are provided with an opportunity to explore the world of work, and we do have some training that's done, going to be made available right on the grounds, and that's one of the permit requests we're talking about, to build a community center so we can do some training with the veterans there. Quickly, I would like to share with you that the biggest donor comes from Harris County. All of our houses are built by Umberland Penn School District. They build the houses in the woodshop departments, and these young people are exposed and deal with not only architectural design, but 5 other skills crafts. And most of all, they are doing this for us here in Liberty County because they're trying to teach young people in the school district the value of volunteering. And they've chosen exclusively to work with our agency, because we deal with veterans, and that's their concern with veterans. Our second biggest donor is Finally Home. And Finally Home, I'm gonna let Lee tell you about this fantastic agency and what they're proposing to do as it relates to putting the infrastructure in place so that when we acquire the homes from the school district, there is in fact a legal, secure, safe system in place to meet the county standards, as well as to maintain the health and safety of the individuals who we're serving.
Yes, ma'am.
With that, I would like to introduce to you Finally Homes' big rep in this area who will tell you about the project specifically. Lee.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Lee Cardigan, Vice President of Project Management for Operation Finally Home. Operation Finally Home is a 501c3 that was formed in Houston through the Greater Houston Builders Association by a group of GHPA members and led by Dan Walworth. I was fortunate enough to be one of those founding members. Over the years, there was a need for more staff, and I retired from my job in the lumber industry to come on staff with Operation Finally Home. Operation Finally Home is funding all of the tiny homes that are being built by the Humble ISD schools. We're also funding the infrastructure for Mrs. Lang's property for these tiny homes. When we are complete, we'll have the 6 that are already there plus 26 more, so 32 tiny homes plus a community center where training for the individuals who are staying there. This is transitional. I don't know if you stated that or not, but this is transitional housing. So we're not just putting homeless veterans into a community and forgetting about them. They are going to transition from this point into rental properties or owning their own home, hopefully someday. So that's the idea. We certainly, one of the main things that we've got to do is put in a septic system for this. These homes are going to be grouped in pods of 5 or 6 homes per pod, kind of in a circle formation. And then we'll have the community center there as well. So the first pod that we'll do will be 5 homes, and the community center will be on that septic system. Then the others will have their own, each other one will be 6 homes per pod, and those will all be on their own system. So we have today with us Mr. Bill Palmer, who is with EnviroPal, and Bill has all the licenses for design and installation of septic systems, and so he's the pro on that. And if you have any questions for him about the system, or if you have any questions for me or Ms. Lane, we're ready to field those at this time.
Great. Bill, you have anything you'd like to offer with us a little bit?
Well, I had no problems lately. Anyway, it extensive outside evaluation of property, and they provide quite a bit of hands-on out there also as to what the area was we could use. My biggest thing is to try and try to meet the state laws and counties. So I understand that there was an agreement, sort of a tentative agreement, that the county permitting division would allow them to get free permit, zero funding for the zero cost permit, which I think is great. I did make one request for them, and I said, thing you need to ask about is whether you can get all the permits at this time and get it permitted, where you don't have to go back in every time to get a permit for this particular pod. And right now the permits run out at the end of each year from time to purchase.
Yes.
The way these things are built, they're not going to build 2,400 homes probably next year. I'd be surprised if they did. Normally it's like 5 or 6 every year to build, but at least it had the permitting in place and the infrastructure be in place, whether they want to do it in advance or not, however they're going to do it. To do seven different systems initially would be quite a burden on them.
Sure.
But the way that the way that right now the prices are escalating, they may choose to do that. I don't know. As everybody's been aware very well. Like things like EVC pipe and all things that's quadrupled in price in a year's time. We've got to do, in the business to go in and look at Home Depot, you'll find fittings and so forth. Cut from there, that have tripled, quadrupled in prices in just 1 year.
Yes, sir, we've been watching that.
Oh, yeah. I don't know where it's gonna end. I fight for have comments from customers every single day. Why does it cost so much? My thing I always used to say is, the first car I ever bought brand new cost me $4,200. Now, that's not even down payment.
Barely.
Barely, if you're lucky. And at this point in time, most of the people that are in such trades are still struggling to try to keep the prices where they can, keep them as low as possible, especially on something like this. But one of the things that I did with them, and I told them right quick, that I don't mind volunteering my time, do the design work, get everything all laid out, make sure it all complies. I'm not, if they use us to do it, that's great, but at least it'll be permitted and proper.
Yes, we sure appreciate your involvement. Sure do. Yeah, we're looking at the permits overall. David, on this, you're looking at a blanket on this.
No, we would permit them. Permits are good for 12 months.
Right.
And so we would permit them through a pod. Again, our main look at this is going to be through the engineering for the septic systems.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one thing that we have to watch carefully. And we will watch that.
Right.
So they're looking at 6 tiny homes in a pod. They're looking at a service center, washateria type operation. Mm-hmm. So we'll be sizing all of that to make sure that it's adequate. We looked at this gentleman, he holds the licenses with TCEQ for site location and for design and for installation.
Right. Okay.
So they'll be working through his license.
So we'll be looking at each, as each pod comes ready.
And this may stretch out over a 3 to 4 year.
Okay.
8 year, it should be an 8-year project.
Okay, good.
So they're producing 3 to 4 homes per year at Unbelievable stage.
So if we have permits now, we would not.
They'll lapse.
Yeah, they'll lapse.
Yeah, so we'll
As
permit
each pod
them.
goes in, if Commissioner's Court agrees to waive this fee, we'll still go by the inspection process throughout each installation of the aerobic system.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
This is a good project.
It is a good project.
I've known this land.
Yeah.
For at least 3 years, maybe 4.
The truth of the matter is A&M University started off working with us in the design department, and David was at the table.
Yes,
and has continued to be very supportive of us almost 5 years, David.
And I think y'all are also supportive of the Veterans Court program we have here.
Absolutely, and that's why Mark Bowen is here, and he heads that program up with VFW,
Yes,
Veterans Court program, as well as peer-to-peer counseling that we're doing with the VFW.
And that's been a great success too. Yes. You want to elaborate a little bit with us, or?
Well,
I don't mean to put y'all on the spot, but
you're not.
A lot of folks are watching and they're
I'll
curious.
give you that insight. I'm a trustee for the VFW. I used to be one of the officers, but I've got so many roles I play right now. I don't have time to be an officer. And I'm a peer-to-peer facilitator for the veterans. with PTSD, sexual trauma, and TBI. Also, I'm over all the mentors, Veterans Court. And I assign each person that comes to the court a mentor. So they can work with this individual to help them, their needs, or having problems, discuss things that can help them through their transition for their 2 years in the Veterans Court. And we work with body graders on this. To also, this project that we're here, right, this is our 8th year that we've been working on these mini homes for vets. So it's been long coming, and we're still pushing to get it done to these vets.
And I know Judge Moorefield has been very active with y'all.
Yeah, Judge Howard also.
Yes, you've been awesome. Yes. All right. Ms. Lang?
Well, I'd like to thank the judge, number one, because you've been there with us as well as our commissioner and David. We think that if you want to have a vision of our project, we invite you to come out.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm glad that you forced Mark to speak up, because the vision that you should see is that our veterans, our homeless veteran population, don't have anything.
Right.
They have been busted from having even pride or the dignity of living. And we're very grateful to Mark and the VFW, and if any of you want to volunteer to take phone calls at 1 o'clock in the morning when veterans are really.
I get a lot of phone calls at 1 o'clock in the morning, by the way.
1 o'clock in the morning when you have to really hold a hand and walk with them and talk with them. This is transitional housing. What we're hoping to do is we have served 50 individuals plus, including some of them with children, wives, and children. And we're hoping to be able to take the individuals through a process that will make them have the ability, the resilience, and the sustainability to be able to become independent taxpaying citizens and make a contribution with the dignity that they deserve for what they have done for us in this particular country.
And this is going to be perpetual.
Yes.
That's what we're stressing. Okay.
I'd like a motion.
All right.
Second that motion.
All right, we have a motion from Commissioner Whitmire, second from Commissioner Karbowski to approve. Any other questions, concerns, or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. That motion carries. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here this morning. Appreciate everything y'all do. Okay, David, number 7, permits inspections. This is consider and approve the request for final plat for Target and Meadows subdivision. This plat has been approved by LJA, and you do have an approval letter in the packet.
Yes, sir. This is a little bit of an unusual subdivision in that it has no interior roads. We've been working with these folks now for a couple of months, and we finally got everything squared away. And I know Commissioner Arthur has had quite a lot of input to me on this. It's a good project. We're going to recommend to you today that you approve the final plat. Mr. Arthur, you want to make that motion?
Certainly do. Second.
All right, got a motion from Greg, second from Bruce to approve. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Likewise, nays. That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. That one has been scrutinized, I will say that.
It is kind of subdivisions that we're looking for.
Yeah, it is. So if anybody from Target has any questions, they can call Greg or you or even me. I'd be glad to visit with them.
Yes, sir.
All right. Number 8, consider, discuss, and approve the County of Liberty authorization to issue request proposals for administrative services and request for qualifications for engineering services for the Regional Mitigation Program Council of Governments Method of Distribution program administered through the General Land Office. Okay, this motion should be as follows. I make a motion to approve and authorize the staff to issue requests for proposals for administrative services and requests for qualifications for engineering services for the Regional Mitigation Program Council of Governments Method of Distribution Program administered through the General Land Office. Now, if y'all know that our COG, or Council of Governments, is HGAC, and that's who we'll be working with, along with Engineering Office and Commissioners Court and GLO. So this is the first step in this method of distribution, correct, David?
That's correct, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, we have been earmarked for $21.2 million to come through HVAC. This lets us go out and secure a grant administrator and an engineering firm to begin to work on an application for this. Now, there's one downside to it, and that downside is low to moderate income benefits. The GLO will require an application to meet 50% low to moderate income. That may give us some trouble countywide because our low to moderate income countywide is not at 50%.
We're at 46.
46, 44 to 46% is where we landed a couple of years ago when we did this. So we're gonna have to structure our applications in a certain way. We can't do anything that's countywide. So we'll be looking at that. We'll be back with the commissioners. Right now, all we're wanting to do is get permission from you to advertise. And whenever we get all of that done, and it's out, the actual hiring of these firms will come back to you.
One of the other things we discussed on this, and we will be involved way more than knee deep, okay? So get ready, commissioners. About 4 years ago, I believe we started, with HGAC and the GLO and requesting funding for a countywide drainage study. We were all we requested was $2.2 million. And that's 4 years ago. So that probably number's grown to $3.4 million by now, or maybe even $5 million because of the time lapse. We were real close to getting that 2.2 million. And then all of a sudden, every county that was contiguous to us and even upstream decided they wanted to get involved because we were getting close. Well, so they decided this regionalism aspect of the funding allowance should be considered. Stopped, right? Okay. So now all these, San Jacinto County, Walker County, Montgomery County, through Liberty County, all the way down through Chambers County, where our water dumps on poor old County Judge Sylvia. That's what happens. Okay, but we have to make it all work together. This would hopefully give us the funding to go ahead and move forward with a study if we can get it past the 50% LMI. And we're going to have the folks from GLO come out. We talked to them as late as yesterday afternoon. We have the folks with Grant Works are going to be here. We'll even have the folks with HGAC as well, and y'all, the commissioners, because it's where the decisions are made. Once we get this done, and we're going to strive to get it done, then we're going to focus on a countywide drainage plan. That way, whenever we get the drainage plan completed, and I hope to get this done in the next 4 years, maybe 5 at the latest, we can adopt that drainage plan countywide, and that would get developers as they come in to adhere to the drainage plan, which they would pay for in their development. It's a win-win for everybody, but especially a win-win for the residents of the county and this court. That's what we're looking for. This is the first step. And we will be having some more meetings on this, and they will be public meetings, and I would expect and appreciate any public involvement. I'll get off of my soapbox now, but this is pretty dear to my heart to get this done because we do have problems.
The last time we looked at a study, Again, it was in that $2.5 to $3 million range. That's been a couple of years ago. Also on the plan, you're looking at $10 to $12 million on an actual plan. So this could easily hit $15 million.
Yeah.
But again, it's a matter of, can we get the money from GLO? Can we figure out some way to get around this 50% LMI?
As far as I understand, yesterday, or Friday was the big meeting with HUD.
Yes.
Where the money comes from. And then it's earmarked for GLO to be passed through to the COG, which is HGAC, then on to us. And that number was approved.
Yeah.
So it's waiting.
You know, the allocation is there, the money is there. If we can just figure out how to make our particular situation work.
Okay.
Mr. Karbowski, you and I had talked about this particular motion, and would you care to make it for us?
I'll make a motion to approve and authorize the staff to issue requests for proposals for administration services and requests for qualifications for engineer services for the Region Migrant Program Council of Government Method of Distributing Program administrated through the General Land Office.
Thank you, sir.
Second.
Good job. That's okay. I'll give you some Kleenex for your glasses. It's all right. Got a motion from Bruce, second from Greg. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. Thank you, gentlemen. That does pass. That's the first step. Putting on the PF flyers on this one. Okay. Number 9, consider and approve pay request number 11 for service on GLO Hurricane Harvey grant in the amount of $14,487.18. A payment to LJA Engineering. David?
Yes, sir. This is a payment. Commissioner Arthur, this is relating to what's going on up in your precinct.
Yeah.
But this is payment to LJA only.
Yeah.
We have some issues with our contractor at this time. I've had some discussions with GLO. We've got LJA involved. That's a story for a later date. We'll be coming back to you with more information on that. But for right now, I'd like to ask you to approve this payment number 11 and the associated draw for LJA in the amount of $14,487.18.
I move to approve. Second.
Motion from Greg, second from David to approve. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 10, consider and approve request to add roads in Encino Estates Section 4 to the 2-year maintenance program. David?
Mr. Wilson, I think the next 2 items are yours. Encino Estates is in precinct 4.
Correct.
They're asking, they have completed section 4. That's a newly completed area, and they're asking that those roads be added to the county's 2-year warranty period. Now, this is the period where they will continue to maintain the roads, but it starts the 2-year period. At the end of that, if the roads are in good shape, everything is as it should be, then we'll accept them into perpetual maintenance program. So how do you?
Yeah, I'd like to table this for the time being so we can get out there and do a little more thorough inspection of those roads.
Okay, you want to table this?
Yeah, till our next upcoming meeting.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Is that a motion, Leon?
Yes.
Okay. Got a motion to table. Did I hear a second? Second, David. Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 11, consider and approve request from Tier 18 Group asking that Section 2 of Encino Estates be accepted by the county for future maintenance.
Commissioner Wilson, this is yours also. Section 2 has been completed for quite a while. We actually had LJA Engineering come up in 21 and do an inspection of section 2. It has aged out and it's now time to accept it as a county maintenance road. Your feelings on that, sir?
Okay, once again, I will make the motion to table this till our next meeting, commissioners meeting. That way we can get out there and do a little thorough more inspection.
Okay, you're gonna have your people do the inspections.
Yes, and so
Okay.
I want to also speak with LJA about it.
Okay,
Okay,
I will set it up. I'll have Manuel Mendoza give you a call.
that's fine. And let's set this up for our next commissioners meeting.
Okay.
Okay, that's a motion from Leon. Need a second?
Second.
Second from David to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. That motion carries. Okay, number 12, consider and approve the revised plat for Santa Fe Section 3. LJ letter of approval is in the packet. David?
This is a minor deal. They revised this plat back about 6 weeks ago, but they left a couple of utility easements off of it. So they've gone back in there, they've added those. LJA has looked at it, it has been approved. So we're gonna ask you to approve the replat of section 2, Santa Fe.
And this is just a plat that we've already approved.
Yes,
It's
sir.
just revisions.
Yes, sir.
Make a motion to approve.
Got a motion from Bruce, second from Greg to approve. All in favor, say aye. Okay, and we have Commissioner Whitmire abstains. Motion carries. Number 13, consider and approve final plat for the Landing 2 subdivision. LJ approval letter is in the packet.
Yes, sir. Commissioner Whitmire, this one's yours. It's up in your precinct. And we've been working with these folks now for quite a while. And they have now gone through, the drainage plans have been studied by LJA. Everything has been approved by LJA. The facility itself is going to be in close contact with a series of subdivisions called Southern Crossing. So it's a good project. Again, we've been working with these folks a long time. It took a little while to make it come together. But we're going to recommend to you today that we approve the final plat for the Landing 2.
There's Southern Crossing, there's a couple other Southerns up there, right?
Yes, so there are 5 of those.
Southern Oaks. What else?
Well, there's actually Southern Crossing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Okay. So this Southern Landing.
This is the Landing 2.
Landing 2, okay. Now, you and I discussed this yesterday a little bit. There have been some drainage, mitigation done by the developer. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And that some channels that were, as I understood, that were blocked have been opened up.
That is correct also.
Okay, all right. Because you're gonna get that question asked, I guarantee you.
Yes, sir.
All right. All right. So that, what's the court's pleasure?
David, you good with this?
Yes, yes.
I make the motion we approve.
Motion from Leon, second from David to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen.
Judge, I think that finishes.
Yes, sir. Thank you, there.
Thank you, David.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Next, item is, Mr. C, over purchasing department. Consider and approve payment application number 11 to White Construction. The amount of $1,838,788.89 for the construction manager and his services for the new sheriff's office at JP3 Annex.
Thank you.
See Harold
Have
over there.
anybody from purchasing?
I'm on Zoom.
Okay, there you go.
Okay.
Is that Stephanie? That's you. All right.
You're listed as LCPUR.
Liberty County?
Liberty County Purchasing. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, this is just so you guys know what we're paying them. We want you to approve it before the auditor releases it for payment.
All right, Dwayne, you good? Dwayne,
He's not on here.
okay.
No. Make a motion to approve.
Got a motion from Bruce, second from somebody.
Second.
Greg, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, next. Motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. I'm pretty sure this is gonna be approved by
Oh, yeah.
auditing.
Or he would have been on there, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Number 15, from Ms. Bergman, our district attorney, consider to approve the purchase of 2 Chevrolet Traverse to be paid from a special investigative fund.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion from David, second from Bruce to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, next.
Hello, Ms. Bergman.
Howdy.
Hi,
You just got your 2 new Traverses.
thank you.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm not there.
Oh, as long as we got them taken care of. But hold still, we got a bus coming, okay?
Yes, sir.
Mr. C, consider approving recommendation to award bid number 2209 for a motor coach for our district attorney. And this is for your field operations. I believe we
Yes, sir.
discussed this extensively in
Yes,
our
sir.
last few meetings.
Yes,
So we
sir. It's a
received,
mobile command center that we're gonna,
purchasing went out for bids and we received 3 bids on this item. And the low bid recommended by purchasing for award is DeMontron Automotive Group, also known as DeMontron RV Spring, for a bid amount of $115,948.04.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion from Bruce, second from David to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. There being no executive session mentioned for today, I will entertain a motion to
Make a
adjourn.
motion to adjourn.
Motion from Bruce, second from David to adjourn. All in favor, say